back to another Instagram Live. I'm Vidushi, member of the Booknerds editorial team, and today we are going to discuss an amazing book that I can't stop raving about. It's such a treat to my New Year's resolutions because it's a non-fiction book and I just can't. My heart is so buoyant today. I'm so glad I read it. Joining me will be Divya from Team Booknerds, another member of our team. She's amazing. And we are going to talk about the book and discuss it.
Hey Divya, how has your day been going today?
I'm doing good. What about you? How are you?
Just amazing. I'm so glad we're discussing this book today.
Finally,
tell
I
everyone
got the
what
paper back.
I'm so jealous. Oh my god, I cannot. Okay, so we are going to be discussing Brand New Start by Mainak Dhar, and it's a book about employing and about the professional life. It's amazing. Divya, tell us a little more about the book.
It's very exciting, honestly. Yeah, like I and Vidushi, we are very hyped up. We are all like, okay, it's a self-help book, and still we are so impressed. I cannot wait to tell you guys more about how I liked it, how it's helpful, what we are doing here, everything.
So, tell us a little about the book and what you thought about it. What were your first impressions? What not?
Very honestly, first impression, self-help book. You're getting my point. Because, yeah, I think when it comes to self-help books, the very first impression is, oh my god, I should go and sleep. Like, what am I even doing? Because, of course, I think we're human beings and it doesn't fascinate us, so much of information and all of that. It's not something, okay, this is fascinating. We are like, I don't really need help. I better do something else and all that. But I started reading this one. I was, I think, 3 pages down and I was like, damn, this is nice. Honestly, exactly. I think one thing that really surprised me before this live, I put up a question sticker on my story. I was asking people if they wanted to know anything about personal branding, and almost 160 people saw it. Not a single person asked a single question, which actually represents that people do not have sufficient information about something which is the game changer. So I was very, very excited, very surprised, very taken aback.
I was a commerce student, Divya. I had no information that personal branding existed. Like,
honestly, and it's just like, oh my god, this is something, that's the reason why this happens, that's the reason this happens. You are like, this has been going on in my life since forever and I had no idea about it. And then you're like, oh, this is that. So I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And yeah, even though it's a self-help book, I would definitely say that something about this book, probably the fact that it's so relatable, so helpful, especially for people like us doing internships or who have just entered the corporate world. It's a big plus, having someone guide you like that. It's a big plus.
Definitely.
You tell me, what was your initial reaction?
You don't even have to guess mine. I do not like self-help books at all. This is one of the very few self-help books that I can count on my one hand that I have completed. There are so many that I have abandoned halfway through. I'm ashamed of this fact, but I can't read self-help books. I hate when people tell me to do something. Like, they're just like, oh, you should drink water. And I'll be like, no.
Exactly.
From today, no water. So it's such a riveting thing that I did complete this book, and it actually helped me because there were things that I didn't know before and things that I had never even thought about, like, okay, so what are your thoughts on personal branding? Had you heard about this word before? Because I hadn't. And when I first heard about the whole concept, I was like, oh, this is going to be so product oriented that we are going to make products out of our own
I
self
remember
and like
something. I read a book a while ago. I think it was How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I very clearly remember one thing the book said, which was human beings do not like taking advice. And I was like, damn, this is so right. Because we don't. I mean, it's a flaw, you can say, or whatever. But if someone comes and tells me to do something, even though I was like, that's what I'm going to do. If someone is telling me, do it, I'll be like, why should I listen to anyone? We have that. And probably that's why self-help books, no, sorry, I can't do it. But personal branding, oh my God. I'll be very honest. When I saw this whole cover, I was like, is this a superhero novel or whatever? And I read I was like, oh my God.
See, this is what I love about the cover. It's so in your face, so pop. I love how the cover is, even though this is black and white. But the paperback version is so amazing.
Guys, first of all, I am very happy because I have a paperback and she has an ebook. Just saying.
I am walking off.
Moving on.
Thank you very much. This has been a lovely session. Bye.
I think, when it comes to personal branding, it is a very underrated, very relevant, very important concept. But because of lack of knowledge or whatever, you can say, I looked at the cover and I could not guess what the book is about. Yet I was interested. I was like, okay, this seems relatable. And then I started reading and I was like, wow. So my perception about personal branding, well, first of all, I am saying this again, I have no idea about it, nor does Vidushi, nor does anyone who is here right now. Please stay with us for longer. Please stay with us for longer. We will tell you why we are here today, why this is so important, why we need to wake up and be like something exists called personal branding. Stay with us, guys. You're not going to regret it. Trust us. We've been reading the book. We know. Guys, take it from us. We know. And yeah, so one thing I would like to say is that what really fascinated me was how in an organization, let's say, a gamut of people work. Like, it's not 5 or 10, a handful of people. It's a huge number. MNCs and all that, they have so many employees. What is the one thing that would make you stand out? What is the reason out of 2 people, one goes to become a CEO and the other doesn't? What is the reason that some people are getting fast-paced promotions and the others are like, oh my God, when will my turn come next? What are those things? Like, I was always so in a fix all the time. Oh my God. And to be honest, this has been a part of us, let's say, school ke time se, you are like, that guy is her favorite, my teacher's favorite. Why am I not? Why is she, even though I am scoring better marks? That's the same deal here. You're scoring better marks, but then someone else is the teacher's favorite. Why? What is the reason? What are those elements? What is it that makes you stand out or that gives you the upper hand? That was the one thing personal branding has really opened my eyes to. I have been like, wow, I read the book and the whole concept of personal branding, I was like, Now I'm getting it. Now I get it. Why? Yeah, I think it's like you. Let's say you've been working with someone. That person is the employer. It's like you have a book. You open the pages and you dive right into the minds of that employer. And now you know this is what I need to do to unlock this. This is what I need to do to perform better, do better. So personal branding is nothing but me knowing Vidushi. That's all it is. Me knowing Vidushi and being like, wow, we can do a live session together. Me thinking she's that capable, that thing I have in my brain. Okay, that's personal branding.
Great,
Vidushi
great.
is now a brand.
Great
Oh my
way you
god.
brought this on in the present with us now. Okay, but even more than that, I loved how the author, like, rather than just explaining what personal branding is, he inculcated the whole experience in his anecdotes, in his own personal life, and with his own stories.
Yes.
Like the whole book, it's these short anecdotes of how he did it. And that's what he also says in the book, that it's his perception of how personal branding is and how he inculcated it in his life, and how these answers and these questions that he's portraying us with, they're all like subjective and they all differ from every person. And I loved his writing. It was so informative but not too heavy. It wasn't too much of a textbook, a commerce textbook about how to succeed in life. It was more explanatory and it had so many amazing anecdotes.
I
Like
I
there's
I
this
say I I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just remember this. I love the fact that it was not very lofty or all over the place or like in your face Porsche points to become a personal brand and to be like the talk of the town or to be the person who lights up the room as soon as they walk in. No, that's what the author says in the very beginning. If you are a table, you know you're a table. The person buying it knows that okay, this is the table I need. How it can help me out. All of those factors that make the table eligible for you to take it home. That's the table branding. And in the corporate sector, that's your personal branding. So I love the fact that its philosophy, its straight on philosophy was so realistic. It's like someone who has actually been in a tough terrain, let's say, is telling you how to survive in hard situations. It's just like that. Someone who has hiked on, let's say, Mount Everest, I say, is telling you how to hike or how to do this and that. It's coming from experience from someone who knows what they're talking about and who's also saying that this might not help you. Like, you picked this book up thinking life change hone wali hai. That might not happen for you. That audacity was applauding. I and Vidushi, we were discussing this before as well, guys.
Divya, we are talking
Yeah.
about an author who is a bestseller and a CEO. Like, just this is God level stuff.
Yeah, guys, this is like, you should all take notes here. If an author in his own book is saying that there is no for sure way this is going to prove helpful to you, helpful to the masses, there is no 100% guarantee. That is a big deal, and I think that was very, very smart and very relatable.
I have to talk about my favorite part here. What you said right now, that is my favorite part in the book. I have to read it aloud. This entire paragraph, it just,
Go for it.
I said it before. I hate when people tell me to do stuff. So the chapter's name is 3 reasons why you should read this book and 1 why you shouldn't. The moment he came to the 1 reason why I shouldn't read this book, after reading that, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to read this book now. So I have to.
Reverse psychology. Reverse psychology.
Right? He tricked me into reading the book, but amazing. The paragraph goes something like this. Now, the 1 reason why you shouldn't listen to me. I do not have all the answers to whatever career questions you may have in your mind. In fact, you should not read any book like this and presume that there is a magic formula for you to adopt which will lead to success. That is not my intention at all. Each of us is different. Each of us marches to a slightly different drumbeat, and each of us has a slightly different definition of success. If we did not, we would all be clones of each other, and if anything, that diversity is what makes personal branding so fascinating and so important. So while I have had a life and career that on the whole has been rather positive, and even if I have some answers, they may or may not work exactly for you as they did for me. So please do not focus on the answers I provide here. Instead, focus on the questions I ask and then apply them to your context. Sometimes the best way someone can help us is by not giving us the answer, but by nudging us into asking the right questions. Amazing. I love the entire paragraph.
Wow, I'd like to give this another take here. It seems to me as if you walk into a restaurant all hungry and being like, I need food, but you look at the menu first and you decide what you want to eat. So the restaurant is offering you a variety of dishes and you get to decide. They are not being like, eat everything or everything here is going to be the tastiest you've ever had. No, they provide you with the options and you're the one who gets to choose. You're also the one who gets to walk out of the restaurant. Very, very similarly, the author, even when talking about something which is so normal, so important, I think the book begins with this quotation, why fit in when you can stand out? I was taken aback. I was like, wow. I mean, I think Swami Vivekananda said this, that everyone wants to stand out. Because it's very true. All of us, we want to, in our careers or in our families, we want to be the person who is the most liked, or let's say the one in the limelight. No one wants to be, undermined or whatever, however way you put it. So I really like the fact that
background character.
Yeah. So I love the fact that the book begins by taking your interest. It's the author is not saying that he's gonna tell you how to stand out. He has written a quotation that's gotten you interested. And 3-4 pages into the book, he's also said, I am not taking any guarantee because what works for you may or may not work for someone else. What works for me may or may not work for you, which was hands-on. Very, 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 very interesting.
Reverse psychology. All the budding writers out there, look at this reverse psychology. It works amazingly. People like me who don't even read self-help books, I read the entire book just because of this. And because halfway through, it was an amazing book. And
also because it was not a 1,000-page book. It was handy. I that was like a commendable factor. Oh my God, I can read this in like one day. Oh, I am done with it. Now I can sleep. That's a big deal, man. For people like us, important. Take notes, people. If you want to write a self-help book, make it short, make it crisp.
Something that you did not know before you read this book. I have something like, I did not know that when you were going in for a job interview, that the employers, they saw your social media also. I was so horrified by that. I instantly cleansed my entire Insta. I deleted stuff right off.
I thought you would be
God, I'm going to go for a job. I'm going to go for a job interview and I cannot. What about you?
Oh God. That was actually,
so horrifying.
to be very honest, it's very true. I did an internship. It was a big deal, like a big internship, a very, famous company, you can say, and they asked me for my username. So I was like, what are they going to do? And when I read this, like, even though you often know things, you read it out loud and clear, then you're like, oh my God. So I was very fascinated. Good, guys, maintain your social media. And I think it makes a lot of sense as well, because when you are putting yourself out there in a corporate world, anywhere, how can someone possibly judge you? They cannot dive right into your soul or something like that. They cannot have that third eye and be like, oh, this person has these 10 traits. He's good, he's kind, he's caring, he's disciplined, he's this and that. No, there's no way for them to do that. There are certain ways for them to get to know. Very importantly, social media. People, maintain your accounts well. Take it from us, we've been through the pain. I think my answer to this question would be that 70% of the CEOs are actually introverts. Oh my God.
When I came onto that line, I was like, oh my God, this is a calling for me. Right here, introvert, make me a CEO, please. I would be very
I
happy.
think it was a very, very smart thing to write in a book. I was fascinated. I mean, I always used to be the person who'd be like, okay, so you are very bold, very confident, very outgoing. You can rock it in any company and anything like that. And then I have seen people, and I've also read about them, in blogs or little stories or whatever. There are times introverted people who you won't see drinking in parties with their colleagues afterwards or whatever, you won't see them outright socializing. They are the ones succeeding too, and they are the ones succeeding in large numbers as well. Why? Moreover, how? And I read this, and then I came to realize that it is not about how outgoing you are or easygoing you are or how many people you're talking to at the same time. Let's say I am in a group of 10 people, and the conversation goes like, hi, how are you? What did you eat today? How's your day been? How's work for you? Oh my God, work's boring. Oh, I can't continue with it. I am done. How much can you actually know about any one of the 10 people during that conversation? 0.01%. I doubt that. You cannot know a person just like that. The third eye concept that I just created. On the other hand, if you are having a one-on-one conversation with someone, like I and Vidushi, we are talking right now, and even though I know nothing about you, I know things like, oh my God, this girl hates self-help books. Because I do too. So yes, we kind of are, picking up on things. That's why I never noticed this. I never put any special attention to it. But yes, it does not necessarily have to be someone who is extroverted or all over the place or in the limelight in order to be successful. You can be an introvert too. And that is a wake-up call.
Even more than that, I love the contrast of how he balances hard work and smart work. Like, you just can't have all hard work, and no smart work. And you can't also have just smart work and not put in anything at all in the hard work section. That you have to have a good balance between both of them. You have to have personal and professional connections with people all around the world and all in your job, and you have to put in the work, and you have to be dedicated to what you want to do. And what I also loved about it was, it wasn't they were the author weren't just preaching about how to get your dream job, because sometimes even you don't know what you want to do. And there was this amazing mention of SWOT analysis, which commerce student right here, please. Thank you very much. So it was, what I loved about personal branding and how he had defined the concept was that I could realize what my own SWOT analysis was. My strengths, my weaknesses, my opportunities and threats. And it was amazing to know that, to realize what I was good at and how I could improve that even more. Okay, so that
I remember reading this one line. I think it was a part of a quotation. It said, vision without execution is hallucination. And it made so much sense. A girl has many dreams. We are talking about Mainak Dhar's brand new start. I'd like to zoom the book in if it's possible. Here, this pretty little paperback and that pretty little black and white ebook. But yeah, guys, so I really love that.
Thank you very much.
So I think it actually made a lot of sense. There are people who are so visionary, so imaginative, not succeeding, and there are people who comparatively might not be as visionary, but they are putting in effort. So the combined outcome of it is working. It's making them succeed. And while talking about the fact that the book talks about success in a lot of ways, there are also paragraphs in the book that have discussed failure, which is very, very good. It is I was very happy when I read that, because someone who has succeeded in life will never be the one to tell you that this and this and this is how you succeed without mentioning failure. That was for me the validation I needed to be like, okay, this is a great book. You are succeeding. You're gonna fail too. And how you handle that, how you tackle that, how you read that, and what you take away from it. It makes so much of sense when failure is involved, because yes, it is two sides of the same coin. It is the front and the back. There's a difference.
It also reminds me about this one chapter where the author mentions how it's not even going to be success and failure. Sometimes it's going to be just a lull of your job, and you won't know what to do in that lull because you aren't going anywhere. You aren't going down or going up. So what do you do then?
Yeah.
How do you sustain it? How do you go up from there and not down? So that chapter, it was so enlightening. It's all those things that we don't really talk about, that normal, ordinary people who are just entering the job market, they don't know these things and how to control all of these circumstances and how to manage them on their own. So it was so amazing to read that out loud,
Exactly. I think it's almost like you were reading 1,000-page self-help book, and between the front and the back, you're currently just stuck in the middle and like flipping the pages to be like, when will this finish and I'll get to jump over to the next one. Very like that. Like, I'm giving you examples of restaurants and tables and books, guys. Like, little bit of respect, little bit of respect. Oh my god. I never thought discussing self-help could be this fun, but wow.
Divya is just pulling analogies out of the walls now.
It's like I have a belt of analogies. You just ask me a question, I'll give you one. I'm wearing the analogy hat today, guys. I've already won the race. The corporate section race.
I have to ask this question after reading this book. What is your perception on self-help guidebooks now? Has it changed in any way?
Well, yes, it has. Yes, it has. It has. It's okay. One more analogy, guys. Very quickly, I'll compare this with, let's say, an online shopping platform. You've never purchased a pair of shoes from an online shopping platform because you're not sure about whether the shoe will fit you right. You order the shoe after a lot of introspection, and the shoe fits you very well. And the next time onwards, it's not like in one day I'll be like, oh my god, I'm not going to any shop, any mall, not buying any shoes. Realistically, I'm going to just like add all the shoes to my cart and order them every now and then, every single month. No. But you have that assurance that, okay, online platforms are not bad. If I need a shoe early, I order one and I'll get it right. That's part of, okay, first of all, I deserve a medal for the analogies. Moving on, the book. I really love this.
The ebook version of this book now.
Oh my god. I have the paperback, girl. Don't mess with me. But yeah, that was it, when you have this perception, this prejudice about something, and you explore it and you get to know this is not as bad. The next time onwards, it all seems a bit less risky, a bit more safe, a bit more worth it. So next time onwards, if I see a very good self-help book somewhere with a good cover, something that interests me, I won't leave it there just because it's a self-help book. That's not happening. If I like it, I'll be like, okay, let's try this one too. So I think it definitely has changed my perception. What about yours? How have your insights changed? What is your take on self-help books now? Rushi, janta janna chahti hai. People want to know. Okay? It's a big subject. We want to know, Rushi. Go for it.
I cannot even start telling you about my dislike of people telling me to do stuff and me not doing them. in ICSC, we have this poem called Desiderata, and it's about a poem on how you should live your life like a nice human being. And I made it my personal mission to hate that poem because I did not like that the poet was telling me that I have to be a good person. So
Oh my
let's
god.
start there. But yeah, reading
I
this book,
think
it has changed me a lot because now I'm a lot more open. Like I have a half-read Malala behind me that I'm going to pick up now and read.
I have a Malala too, but the difference is I only read 2 pages.
See,
I should be going
we're
time.
gonna pick it up now. And also the monk who told us Ferrari. I couldn't get
I
halfway
can't.
through.
Sorry, it's very emotionally exhausting. Oh my god! I have such amazing self book. Think Like a Monk, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. What else? I've got quite a plenty, man. I need a lot of self help. I have
Now we
Blink
can
by
finally
Malcolm
read
Gladwell.
them.
So many, but not reading any because it's self-help. Yeah, man, that has changed. And I'm pretty happy too about it because, as much as we all are fascinated, or most of us are fascinated by fiction and, imaginary stories and all that, non-fiction, what it does is it tells you stuff often you already know about yourself. So it's great when you are talking about the clarity aspect of it. Because even though I know that a river has water, if I read a book and the book is talking about the shiny, glittery, amazing water, I would draw an image in my head. Vidushi and Raji is 101. Oh my god. This is interesting. I'm liking it. It's like an analogy game.
I
The
cannot.
author of the book, if ever he comes across this live session, he'll be so proud. Oh my god.
Yeah. Next time he'll call you up for the anecdotes and the analogies.
That's how you do it.
Okay,
And
so okay. Okay. One critique about the book. I want to know something that you wish
one
had been a
critique
little
about the
different.
book.
Okay.
I know my answer. You go first. I want to know.
Okay, so as
Okay,
much
I'm
I
also
loved
playing
reading,
safe right now so that if anyone's like, oh, criticism, I'll be like, she went first. I went second. Safe already.
you're throwing me to the
Kidding,
wolves
kidding.
here. Thanks for that. I loved how informative the book was, but because I'm a binge reader, personally, this was my fault. But because I'm a binge reader, I read through it so fast that by the end, there was this block on my head that I couldn't get past. Like, I was just
Very true.
turning pages like it was my commerce book, and I couldn't get anything. I was so mind
Oh my
boggled by
god.
the end of it. So I had to reread the last few pages and actually imbibe the whole meaning again. So that was a little. It's very tough around the edges when you actually start going get into the book. Get into the flow of it. It's very info heavy sometimes.
Yeah, in the initial few pages, you realize the importance of the concept. Then you are paying extra attention to everything. Oh my god, this data or this, so that you're like, okay, I'll pick this up and I'll like do something about it and I'll become better and all that. Additional pressure, guys. You getting my point? It's a lot of pressure because it's a rat race. It honestly is. I think Vidushi will agree with me on this. Anyone who's watching right now, if you have ever worked in the corporate sector or done any internships, anything as such, you will know that there is a lot of competition. And in such a situation, what is it you can do to stand out? And if someone is finally telling you that, keep straight on your face, this might or might not work for you, but this is the knowledge I have, take it or leave it. And you're like, oh my god, this seems interesting. You will pay extra attention to everything it has. But then I completely agree with what you said, dude. Information, the data, 70%, 30%, 32, 84, whatever. My mind was like,
Stop functioning now. It just, my brain
My
left
mind was
my
dead.
head for a few seconds there. Yeah, it was like cramming before your exams, basically. Like there is too much info
Very.
here that I cannot retain. Okay, so your
I
final
think
thoughts about the book. Did you like it or not?
Well, before that, I would like to say this one thing here. I think I discussed this with Vidushi before as well, before the live. I'm not giving any analogy. I'm done. You're gonna all kill me if I do that. I'm gonna be blocked from Instagram lives if I do that, dude. No, not a risk worth taking. But yes, I will say this. When I was reading the book, as much as it gave me a lot of clarity, the very aspect of it, the branding aspect of it, it was a bit overwhelming. I will not neglect that. It was because when you know there's so much competition, when you know this is the factors are the factors needed for you to succeed. These are the factors. This is the reason out of 7 people, one is standing out. You become a bit more conscious. And even though the author has pointed it out himself, how important being authentic is, I think it is a lot of work into yourself to get to a point where you're establishing yourself as a brand while also being as authentic as possible, because that is very easily compromised upon, and that would be my critique, to put it like that. And good or bad, well, I think the whole conversation has been such that if a book is making me rethink the fact that I don't like self-help books, the book is good. It's good. The language, very clear, very to the point, precise, interesting, informative. It's like you are getting to know several people's experiences all at once in a very general as well as a personal manner. You're getting to know how CEOs think while also getting to know how the author as a CEO thinks. So that has all been very perfectly balanced, and I think there are many graphs in the book, many diagrams, many. It's like, okay, one more analogy, one more, one little one, it's like when you're, let's say, cooking pasta, you will take different components of it to come up with pasta, right? You need to have information about it, and you need to have the ingredients at hand. So if the final product, if the outcome, if the food item or whatever is pasta, you have to understand first what the components of it are and why each of the components is as important as the final dish. And I think the author has done a tremendous job at that. What are your final views? Very excited to know, honestly.
I have to say, Divya, that last analogy, chef's kiss. It was amazing. And you're going to be awarded for this later on. Okay, so yeah, I have to say, again, like Divya, if a book has made me change my perception on self-help books in general, then it is a good book. It's a revolutionary book in itself. And more than that, I loved how it wasn't just a straight-laced informatory book. No, it was so full of life. And most of all, it was funny. The narration was hilarious at some points. Like when the author talks about icebergs, his iceberg theory, and how his wife is so sick of him of repeating that theory again and again. I was like, yes, thank you very much. I love this information you have written there.
Yeah, we want to know that.
Really know.
So it's like, yes, you're amazing, but we want to know how you suck. What you suck at? That's all something interesting. Go for it.
Tell us how successful you are, but tell us the reality. Yeah, and most of all, what I loved about the book was how sincere it was. You know, the author at every turn, it was showing it in his words of how he wasn't writing this book just for the sole purpose of like selling it or whatever. he was writing it because he wanted the readers to succeed in whatever they were doing, in whatever dream job they wanted to have, or whatever place they were in at their job at right now. So that in itself was so amazing to me, of an author being so receptive to their readers, and that really made me love the book. So I enjoyed it
When
very,
it
very
comes
much.
to the sincerity aspect of it, I'd like to read an excerpt. I won't take much time, but at the very end of the book, it says, "Thank you for indulging me so far, and I leave you with this one small parting request. Pay it forward. Share some of what you have learned with someone who may need help with their career. Become someone's cheerleader. Take the time to go below the borderline to understand those around you and appreciate what makes them tick and build stronger connections instead of rushing to judge them." Very important. For me, the ultimate success of this book will be to help your career take flight in whatever little way I can help, and more importantly, to help you realize that the ultimate test of having a strong personal brand is not just about how high you can soar, but about being the wind beneath someone else's wings. I'd like to repeat that last line. Having a strong personal brand is not just about how high you can soar, but about being the wind beneath someone else's wings. That was the point that I realized, wow, I think that is Vidushi's reaction. That is mine. If you have been with us since the beginning, halfway through, 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, you will know that this, yeah, like, I didn't know this, Vidushi. I knew nothing about this. Oh my God. When I read books like this, I realize how stupid I am. I know nothing. It happens to me. It's like these realizations out of nowhere. And, oh my God, I'm stupid. I didn't know that. But I think it's great. Like, the very fact you can have all the information in the world, but it would mean nothing if you're not passing it on. If I was not having this discussion with you right now, Vidushi, you would have had 50% of your point of view. Now probably you have 65. When you discuss it with 5 more people, you'll probably reach 97. Okay, I'm bad at mathematics. We'll not talk about that right now. She's a commerce student. I don't know you. I'm out. Dude, okay, don't let me come up with otherwise, please don't do that. Someone. No, I should have been like that. Oh my God.
Your next point should have been 100. Why did you
because okay, the more people you discuss perceptions with, there is always this growth factor involved, because the corporate world is immense. It is immense. That was the reason I did not say 100%. I know for a fact that Vidushi, books, corporate sector, all of what we are talking about right now, brands and all of it, oh my God. It's like exhausting. It honestly is. And I am
MBA classes?
like, yeah, I have pretty much gotten exhausted talking about it. But yes, this book is what we have been talking about. Just showing you the face one more time. My paperback.
Next time, it's going to be my paper. I just have to say that you all nerds know what to do next. Go ahead and check out this amazing, amazing book. It is so worth it, especially if you're in college or if you're new.
No one has told us to say good stuff about the book. These are all very honest reviews, dude. Anyone who's watching here right now, trust me, I have been very fascinated about this one. So if you are entering the corporate field, you've been there for a while, you're interning or whatever, pick this book up. Not a sincere request, but a sincere request. You pick it up, read it. We would love to know your opinions about the book, you can always DM at the Booknerds. And Vidushi, this has been a very fruitful conversation, man. I enjoyed every bit of it. I had a blast time. I really hope people who watch this. What's the name of the book? It is called Brand New Start by Mainak Dhar. Here, if you can see clearly.
Divya, it was lovely having you with us today. It was an amazing conversation. You will be remembered for your analogies forever. I can tell you that much right now. Analogy queen right here. Anyone DM her for great analogies in your book. And for more book content, you can all check out Booknerds on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you so much for being with us here today and watching this live. It was wonderful to have you all here. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.